7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have me.
Crazy mother.
Welcome back, guys. This is part 2 of a 3-part series. We're working on the 2002 4BT Ford Expedition here. We got Uncle Kyle down there on some new mats. Look at those mats. I kind of threw my back out taking the transmission out. Well, my neck and hip and some other things. What we got going on today is... Kyle says...
We might have a rear main leak, which,
You want me to play the clip of why we think that there's a leak?
yeah, you can play the clip.
The new gasket I'm going to just drop in.
They need another truck like they need.
No, it's fine.
I don't know if that's the reason. I mean, you know, we're gonna have to check some things to see.
So what this means is the adapter plate's got to come out. The flywheel's got to come out. The Chevy's gonna have to turn off next door.
Yep, whole place.
Did somebody just cheer after it started?
I don't know.
But anyway, so
I can't rate shit like this.
transmission. Transmission is at the transmission shop. Why? I wanted a professional opinion on it, and I got one. So I'm gonna go over to my drawing board here. If it ain't diesel, it ain't right. All right, guys. So you have the flywheel. I'm gonna draw a flywheel here, and you know you got your teeth on it that you know, just like I'm a bad drawer, but you got teeth on your flywheel, and so this is your flywheel. And then you got a torque converter that's circular. And it's got a stud here, a stud here, a stud here, and a stud here. Well, I've always went around and tightened this one, then spun the motor around, tighten this one, spun the motor around, tighten this one, spun the motor around, tighten this one. Or, vice versa. That's not how you tighten down a torque converter. So this pilot bushing, or is it called the pilot bushing? The pilot guide?
Yeah.
In the center here, goes into the center of the flywheel. And so in the center of the flywheel here, that goes in there. Well, so we took it to the transmission guy. The first thing he noticed is there was weird wear on one side and no wear on the other side, indicating that this was, instead of being a flywheel and torque converter, made it up together, perfectly, with the perfect, the measurements from here to here and the measurements from here to here the same. We had flywheel and torque converter. Does that make sense? Hopefully. My drawing is, so you got a torque converter. This is a really bad drawing. But so you got the torque converter. It wasn't at this much of an angle. I'm just saying the distance was different, causing this to spin inside the pump and waller out the bushings.
Yes.
Yeah, the bushings.
The internal bushing.
And the internal bushings waller out inside the transmission. Cause it to leak into the bell housing and leak out our plug.
That's what he thinks it is, anyways.
So we're putting all new bushings. Transmission shop is put all new bushings in it. New seals,
New outer seals.
new outer seals. They're servicing the transmission.
Yep. Getting a new filter put in there. Might as well. It's down
I'm only
there.
human. You guys are only human. We're all human.
No, you should have known better.
We make mistakes and we learn from our mistakes. And I've never, bolting transmissions up my whole life, I've never had this problem. But this is an adapter plate and a little bit,
torque converter.
different. So, there was just a little bit room for error there, and it happened. So basically, there's where the torque converter sits in, and you got all four. So, yeah. We're going to go ahead and take that out tonight, guys. Going to turn some air on. Alright, guys. Welcome back. Happy Sunday. I was just making a little Sunday video, a little update. Expedition still in the garage. We've got the transmissions at the shop. It's been there all week. So I've been back and forth on what caused it to leak like that, and it wasn't anything I did. It wasn't anything that could have been avoided, but we had a stress crack that developed on the torque converter around the neck that slides onto the pump. So basically it was a fatigue crack. It just didn't get welded right, I'm guessing. He said that he's seen it a couple times in his career, the transmission guy, but unfortunately we didn't catch that crack until after he went into the transmission and rebuilt some seals and bushings and stuff like that. So we did a little bit more than it was necessary. We're waiting on a torque converter because it's a special torque converter for the 4R70W that's a lower stall speed than stock because gas engines rev higher than diesel. So anyway, yep, we're working on probably start putting the transmission back in middle of this week. Today I'm just kind of working on the trailer. We're going to a wedding, last camping trip of the year. Show you what I did today. So I'm just working on cleanup in here. Basically, we got back from camping last time. We cleaned up after ourselves, but we didn't actually deep clean the trailer. So I want it cleaned before we go. Just, pick up this stuff and wipe the counters down, sweep the floor, mop it. But got my LED lights put on this morning. Those top ones side. So that was a fun little morning project. With this guy, I'm not happy with this flooring I put in. This trailer moves and flexes, and that stick together flooring is starting to with it stretching and contracting and moving around when you're driving down the road. There's a couple spots and you can't fix it. Once it's down, it's down. So FYI, don't go with the cheap it's like a plastic. Yeah, just stay away from the cheap Home Depot crap, and they don't it's already bubbling up in some spots. I'm not happy with it. So alright, guys, welcome back. We have the transmission shenanigans going on still in the 2002 Expedition with Cummins in it. We got it back a couple weeks ago. I've been so busy with work that I haven't had any time to work on the Expedition, but finally we've got some time, and here she's back from the transmission shop with new bushings and seals and pump seals and all sorts of good stuff. We didn't have to do that though. Comes to find out, we have a brand new torque converter. What had happened is I'll show a picture to you guys what happened. So as you can see right there, we had a stress crack on the weld on the output-input shaft of the torque converter. I don't know what you call that shaft there, but those welds, the welds on those were defective, and you could actually see there was actually some bubbles in the welding process from the machine that welded it. So unfortunately, there was no warranty on that torque converter because the company I bought it from went out of business. So we have a new torque converter along with some new pump seals and some other goodies inside the transmission. This training shifted nice. I had no transmission problems at all. Didn't overheat. Shifted through the gears solidly into overdrive. Perfect, in and out of overdrive. So what we're going to do is I bought some new bolts today at the hardware store. I bought some extra long ones here, got 2 of them. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the head off of this one and that one, and you thread these in to the engine, or in our case, the adapter. I'll show you what I've got going on here. To make a transmission swap go a little bit easier for you guys, so you're not fighting it, 1, have a Harbor Freight transmission jack. They work great. 2, get some a couple bolts for lineup pins, a little extra long. And then what we're gonna do, get my weeble wobble ass under here, is we're going to thread right here. That's what I'm thinking. And right here is what I'm thinking. 2 easy bolts to get a hold of. So when you cut these heads off, you've got a lineup pin. Plus you've got the dowels right here and here. That'll just help line everything up for you guys. And then you gotta, because it's a pain with an automatic, you gotta get all 4 torque converter studs through, and then we gotta get the nuts put on those guys. So I'm waiting for Uncle Kyle to get here. I'm gonna put the GoPro on the charger, and I'm gonna whack those heads off and get those studs ready to go. Alright, so Kyle's over, and we're working on the wiring harness on the transmission. We left a lot of butt connectors and butt connectors, T connectors, and we actually had one fall apart, but we're going back through and actually soldering and shrink tubing. So I will show you guys what it's gonna look like. I'll show you what it looks like after I'm done with this, but basically doing some wiring cleanup of the harness that we built for this guy. All right, so everything turned out pretty. Got all of our new soldered connections. There's no butt connectors anymore. All soldered. We got to pull this up. We're gonna loom all this. For right now, though, we're not going to loom it because we're going to make sure it works after we just did all that. We're just gonna tuck it off to the side like so. I think it was due for a bushing job, Cal. It's got way less play in the torque converter.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
We need to take these rubber caps off.
Let's try to put this cocksucker in.
All right.
I just looked at it.
I don't know if we can get. We might have to do what I was saying. Put it on the thing out here.
Let's roll this on its side.
Towards me?
Towards you. Yep.
Hold on, we got the breather. What do you want to do, sir?
Fucking fuel tank cross member. All of that. I just want to set the. God damn it. I let it move. That was my bad. Okay, I think we're on. Tilt it. What's going on? Fucking lead's not moving. Alright, got it.
Huh?
You got it. Come around to this other side.
It's too much weight on it. We're gonna have to do this outside the vehicle, I think. Yeah, I can't get it to spin.
Okay. Come back over here.
You wanna try again?
Man, this fucking cross member. And now I got it up against my leg. I gotta go forward. Forward?
Yeah, there we go.
Hold up.
Housing. Maybe. I can't lift the bell housing.
Hold on. Hold on.
Who am I fighting?
I cannot. This fucking back cross member is about to piss me off. What the fuck is that? Some bitch ain't light. I know that. Alright, let's try to slide the pan. can't get fucking go. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's do this outside.
I keep sliding.
And now let's set it down. I'm pulling the tray out and setting it on the jack out here. This is stupid. I've never been able to get this thing on the damn jack underneath the vehicle.
We're gonna twist it right down. And I'll follow it out.
It's never been able to. Once you get all the weight in one direction, it's impossible to. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. You're sitting up on one side.
Yep. We'll see.
Sketchy as fuck. All this is doing is going under and then fucking getting lowered back down.
Yeah, exactly.
You're pulling the fucking expedition over.
Which it shouldn't, because this is on rollers. Maybe I should go up with the bottle jack. Right? That's tight, right?
Yeah, it should be tight.
We're creating more of a fulcrum. The bottle jack to fail. Pop out of here. How much further do you think? Just went up another inch with the bottle jack. Like I've gone up 4 inches with this back tire. Maybe I should have done this in the front.
That's where you're at, right there. Flat.
Shit.
We got a long ways to go.
Why isn't this moving?
We're gonna. Oh man, that blows out and fucking hurt somebody. That's gonna be a shit day.
I can keep going up this, I can go up the bottle jack some more. If you got that under and then tilted the back down, I can keep going up a little bit more.
Just
One more pump. Oh god.
okay, that's good. Just
The truck too much.
fucking plastic on these fucking steps.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Problem is coming down easy with this jack.
It's not even remotely what I'm worried about right now.
Yeah. It needs to have clearance on both sides.
You need to kiss my ass.
Right there. Just leave it alone. Get up from underneath some bitch. Okay.
Please stay on that jack stand.
Coming down. Nice and easy. You got clearance?
Let me get. Fuck you. Fuck.
Can't open the garage door.
Son of a bitch.